Welcome, everybody, to Venture Capital News Daily, presented by VC Hunting. That's right, guys. You thought we were gone. We're not. We're back. And we are going to be giving you guys the news that you can use for venture capitalists, technologists, founders, entrepreneurs, and frankly, I just want to be part of your day. I just want to be part of your day, giving you the updates on what's going on in venture capital. How this new show presented by VC Hunting is going to go, guys, it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to go through an article. I'm going to add my color commentary. And then from feedback that I've gotten, we're going to be covering VC deal news. Some of you guys really care about this stuff. And I think it's important to keep a log and a track of what's going on. From there, we're going to be covering one more news article that I think is pretty funny. Today's news article is 3 most important leadership lessons that this one individual learned about. Sometimes we can extract from their lessons a couple of ways to do our businesses better as well. The first news article comes from Forbes, guys. It's about leadership strategy. Let's just jump right in, guys. Thanks for being here. This one's from Esther Choi. Why every business leader needs to know about narrative economics. I've read this article, and what they're talking about is ensuring that you understand your story. Maybe it's important, especially for venture capitalists. The field of economics is highly quantitative. Storytelling, on the other hand, is creative and literary. One would think these disciplines have nothing in common. This had been true until Nobel Prize-winning economist Robert J. Shiller released his new book, Narrative Economics. In it, Shiller argues that economic narratives, contagious stories that can alter people's economic planning, are so influential they are worthy of serious academic study. It'd be really cool if your startup, your company, your venture firm, was worth an academic study. Whether you are into economics or not, Shiller's thesis has serious implications for every business leader. Are you a business leader? Well, maybe you should listen. One of the things Shiller sets straight is that the question isn't whether narratives should rationally affect the stock market, but whether or not they actually do. Leaders may question whether or not stories should be persuasive. Shouldn't we just stick to the facts? Shouldn't we just trust our brilliant audience will get it? Like Shiller, we can conclude that the question isn't what our audience should do, but what they actually do. And we know what people do is remember stories. Information is up to 20 times more memorable if it is presented as a story. Interesting. This is why it's so important as a founder or an entrepreneur to have your narrative, have your story so well crafted so you can communicate it, especially if you're pitching, so you can communicate it effectively to VCs who want to give you money. Cha-ching, guys. That's right, cha-ching. Data misses a lot, absolutely. Shiller argues that data alone is insufficient interpreting economic shifts. Quote, trying to understand major economic events by looking only at data, says Shiller, runs the risk missing the underlying motivations for change. After World War I, the economist John Maynard Keynes considered how Germans would interpret the Treaty of Versailles. He was concerned about the literal price of winning nations were forced Germany to pay, and he was also concerned about how they would, quote, likely interpret the story of Versailles Treaty given their economic conditions. Is this the whole idea of that the winners get to define history? Could be a problem. I've actually covered this before in previous news bits about how we now live in a world of revisionist history, and that's why decentralized news, kind of what we're trying to help promote here, decentralized news is really important, ensuring that decentralized systems aren't changing history after the fact. A common belief, again, amongst researchers and those who rely on data is, if you can't measure it, then it doesn't exist. I don't know if that's true. As an example illustrates, though Keynes didn't or couldn't measure the resentment, indignation, and economic hardship that post-World War I Germany experienced, it doesn't mean that these factors didn't exist or weren't important. Contagious narratives share common elements. So here's the question. Let's hope that you can craft a narrative around your startup, a narrative around your venture fund, that is contagious. What's contagious about your culture? What's contagious about your leadership? What's contagious about what you do that could interest people in participating and helping you? These are great ideas. I like this. As an example of a contagious narrative, consider Bitcoin, as Schiller does. There's probably a good reason why this might just be the first article that I'm covering on our news segment. All hail Bitcoin, guys! Well, this cryptocurrency is only valuable if people value it. If no one wants to use it, its value plummets. So it has to be a narrative that makes people want to use it. In this case, it has a powerful narrative because it, number one, Bitcoin exemplifies a value system. Because Bitcoin functions outside the government control, fans see it as capturing positive anarchist values. It points towards a world that could exist without government. Without government, guys? You leave a comment below if you think that's possible. It has an intriguing founder. Ooh, are you an intriguing founder? Are you an intriguing founder? Mystery surrounds Bitcoin's founder, Satoshi Nakamoto. In fact, says Schiller, he has never been seen by anyone who will testify to having seen him. Ooh, mysterious, guys. Very mysterious. Provides people a sense of mastering technology. Bitcoin users may feel that by being on the cutting edge, they are going to be among the winners in this merger of finance and tech. Number 4, makes them global citizens. Because Bitcoin is not associated with any particular country, it gives people an opportunity to transcend nationalism and become global citizens. That's pretty powerful. What a powerful, powerful narrative that Bitcoin is. Of course, it's one thing to dissect a popular narrative after it's gone viral, but how does one craft ideas with the hope of making them go viral? 4 considerations Schiller gives. So here's probably where you might want to pay attention if you're listening on our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, and all the other places that we host it. Number 1, package idea narratives. So if you're thinking about your narrative for your startup or your VC fund, pay attention. Quote, people often fail to notice ideas, Schiller writes, if those ideas are not part of a script or not packaged well enough. Number 2, give people a story they can retell. What's absolutely great about Bitcoin's narrative is it's easy to retell. It's kind of like, screw the banks. If you're an anarchist, it's pretty easy that way, right? Give people a story they can retell. People like to hear stories that they can retell to others who will like the same story, notes Schiller. However, these are not the most trustworthy stories. A study in Science found that, quote, false stories had 6 times the retweeting rate on Twitter as true stories, says Schiller. And that fact has been verified. Feel free to pass it along. Ethical storytellers must tell contagious, true stories. Number 3, include a visual image. This doesn't require a sketch pad. Just tell a story with vivid images. Schiller notes that the Laffer curve became a powerful idea partly because its narrative included a tidbit about the curve first being drawn on a napkin at a fancy restaurant. People could picture this happening, and the ideas stuck more easily. One of the things that I've told many people before is that you got to become a better storyteller about what you're doing. Craft the narrative. Bring in details, bring in images, bring in ideas, things that you did, things that didn't go well. These all add to the aesthetic of a great story. Number 4, value what your audience values. Well, obviously getting feedback from your market would help. Though Schiller doesn't explicitly say this, his points about Bitcoin carry a message for all business storytellers. Things have value because other people assign value to them. That means that as a leader, the value you assign to stories or ideas is not enough. Don't fall into the thinking, quote, that'll never catch on. Assess the narratives honestly to see whether others are taking them seriously. So essentially, make sure that you watch your audience. Are they receiving your story appropriately? Are they receiving the story as intended? Or are they bored out of their gourd? Nope. Narratives shape the world in many ways that academic fields and industries are just beginning to catch up with. As leaders, it is high time to proactively assert our stories and give them every chance of going viral. That is, after all, the essence of leadership storytelling, the intentional assertion of a point of view through a story. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments or tweet at me. Let me know what you think about this article. Are you crafting your narratives today? What things do you think are important to ensure that your narratives, your stories about your startup, your hustle, your project, or your venture fund, what are those stories conveying? Are they the right imagery? Are they the right ideas? Are they the right message? I think it's really important to practice your story. You know, practice your story. Practice it. Make sure, practice it on other people. You know, this is important. Tell your story. You know, I would go even farther. I would say that a lot of people just haven't practiced enough. Haven't practiced enough of their story. Like, what are all the moving parts? What makes your story, your project, your hustle unique? What makes your venture capital firm unique? Talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more you'll be able to craft that narrative. Thanks, guys. This is a good article. This is a great article. Now, a word from our sponsor. True Startup Story, guys. You got it. Your company just got seed round financed. Congratulations. You're going to the moon. But now you have to scale. You found great talent out in California, New York, Georgia, and even Eastern Europe. So what communications platform will you be using to ensure your international team is always aligned? Well, the answer is easy. Slack.com for Teams. We've used Slack for all of our previous startups, and they've supported us in tremendous ways. And we want to give them a thanks today for supporting vchunting.com. Did you also know that Slack is a great tool for personal use? Yeah, I use my own personal Slack channel to drop in documents, notes, to-dos, and follow-ups to ensure that my workflow throughout the day is right on course. I promise you, if you try out slack.com for personal use, you'll end up using it for your team as well. Go to slack.com to check it out. All right, guys. Well, I have begun creating a master list of venture deals that come across my desk in various news sites and news articles and newsletters. And so I think it's important for those who care, because I've actually been talking with a lot of VCs, a lot of people interested in venture capital, a lot of founders. They want to know what the landscape is doing, what's happening in the market, how much money is being thrown around, which deals are getting funded, which ideas are getting funded. And I think it's important. And this is actually, I'm going to say this is actually pretty important, especially if you're a venture capitalist. To be able to listen to these in mass, to be able to listen to all the deals that are happening, can give you a really powerful idea of where the market's moving. This metadata, it's pretty juicy, guys. So kick back, relax, and listen to the venture deals for December 9th, 2019. Finicel, a Singaporean fintech offering consumer credit in Indonesia, raised $90 million in a Series C funding Asia Growth Fund joint venture between Murray Asset and Naver, and SquarePeg led the round. Naver, huh? Well, Naver invested in us, but well, they're kind of promiscuous. Anyway, HighSpot, a Seattle-based platform, raised $75 million in a Series D1 funding. Iconic Capital, Madrona Venture Group, OpenView, Salesforce Ventures, and Sapphire Ventures participated. Panaray, a New York-based provider of automated third-party security lifecycle management, raised $15 million cha-ching in a Series A funding. Oak Fund led the round and was joined by investors including Aleph VC. Delphia, a Toronto-based investment advisor using personal data as an investable capital, raised $14 million from those including Real Ventures, Lara Hippu, Golden Ventures, Black Jays Investments, and Day One. Canopy, a Lehigh, Utah-based cloud-based practice management platform for tax professionals, raised $13 million. $13 million? $13 million for a tax professional stuff? That's pretty juicy, guys. Series A funding from Brick and Mortar, InQtel, and Main Sequence Ventures. Advanced Navigation, a Sydney-based firm focused on AI and robotics. Sensors raised $13 million in a Series A funding from Brick and Mortar. Oh, I already did that. Infinitium Electric, an Austin, Texas-based maker of IoT-enabled electric motors, raised $12.5 million in a Series B funding. Cottonwood Technology led the round and was joined by investors. Well, IoT. One of my interviewees, Ravi Balani, probably would like this because he likes those IoT stuff. We were talking about that. Curva, a UK-based pay-as-you-go insurer, raised £15 million, $19 million in funding from RTP. Farmland Finder, an Iowa-based platform that provides landowners access to buyers, sellers, and market information, raised $3 million. Not bad. Cha-ching. $3 million in seed investment from Cultivan Sandbox. Orthopedic Care Partners, a portfolio company of varsity healthcare providers, acquired Florida Spine and Pain, an orthopedic surgery practices platform. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Not bad. Tower Arch Capital recapped OSM Worldwide, a Chicago-based global parcel management company. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Walter Global Asset Management acquired a minority stake in Quadra Partners, an asset management firm. Not bad. Blackstone agreed to invest £100 million or $130 million booyah, in HH Global, A. Sutton, a UK's global outsourced marketing provider. AE Industrial Partners acquired AIM MRO, a Miamiville, Ohio-based supplier of consumable repair products and materials in the aerospace engine aftermarket. I didn't even know there was an aerospace engine aftermarket. I mean, can you get like, can you, what am I going here? Aerospace engine aftermarket. I wonder if they have any like 2JZ engines. Salt Creek Capital acquired Pacific Shoring, a Santa Rosa, California-based manufacturer of aluminum trench shoring equipment. Ooh, I guess if you're into that, that's a big deal. Black Dragon Capital acquired Magnus, a UK-based e-commerce software and technology developer. Cha-ching. Stone Point Capital took a majority stake in Prism HR, a Hopkinton, Mass-based HR software company. HR is a big deal, guys, these days. Mercer Global Advisors, backed by Oak Hill Capital and Genstar Capital, acquired Adam Financial Associates, a Boca Raton, Florida-based wealth management firm. Not bad. STG Logistics, a Windpoint Partners portfolio company, acquired Vico Holdings, a provider of logistics solutions in New Jersey and New York. Pleatco Filtration, an online capital partners portfolio company, has acquired TDS Filters, a Bessemer AI-based marketer of filter cartridges. I don't know anything about that. That sounds pretty legit. HKW recapped Traductions. Serge Belair, a Montreal-based language service provider that supplies translation services to corporate and institutional clients. Not bad. Barbary, a portfolio company of Leeds Equity Partners, acquired Kaplan Altior, a UK-based provider of legal training courses. Ooh. You know, I've seen a lot more legal startups popping up, especially for venture capital. It's interesting that this market is growing the way it is. Olympus Partners Transom Capital Group acquired Scantron Corporation, a Minnesota-based maker of assessment and technology solutions. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Olympus Partners recapped Heniff Transportation Systems, an Oak Brook, Illinois-based liquid bulk transportation services provider. You know what I'm also seeing? A lot of shipping technology these days. I'm seeing a lot of that as well. Might be worth noting. Mitchell Genex acquired Comp Alliance, a Merriam, Kansas-based workflow solutions provider from Cobalt Ventures, the captive private equity subsidiary of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. And last but not least, Permira is weighing the sale of John Masters Organics, an organic personal care business, Bloomberg reports, for as much as $200 million. Ooh, not bad, guys. Well, this is your venture deals for December 9th, 2019.
Did you know that there's even more value than just audio or video? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at VC Hunting, and make sure to sign up for the VC Hunting newsletter, where you'll be able to get weekly news on venture capital, startups, founder stories, and the occasional wisdom extracted from Peter's brain. Go to vchunting.com to sign up. And now back to the episode.
And we're back, guys. Woo! This is fun. We're doing all this fun stuff on this first show, guys. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but we're trying stuff out. I saw this article, I wanted to read it. I think it's important for us sometimes to be remembered of leadership lessons. And, well, this is from Quora. The 3 most important leadership lessons I learned as an executive. Subtext is always take the high road. It's from Quora. A question from Flavio Mansi. What are the best leadership lessons you've learned as a successful executive? Answered by Flavio Mansi, president of IGWT Block on Quora. Over the years, I've had the honor to work with a lot of great companies, with great teams and under fantastic leaders. I've learned what I believe is a lot, but what I know is just a small fraction of what they had to offer. I believe the best lesson is to listen. It's the only way to learn. To listen, to listen, to listen, to listen, to listen, to listen. That's what I'm doing a lot of. I'm spending a lot of time listening to the market, especially from founders and venture capitalists. What do they want? What do they need? What are people need more of? Using those listening skills, guys. As to specific lessons, first and foremost, always take the high road. I had the pleasure of working with an extraordinary founder of a highly successful technology company who taught me, by example, to always do the right thing. We're seeing a lot of flack for the company with the away bags, right? With the away bags. Maybe if they did the right thing, they wouldn't be getting so much flack, guys. Ooh, is that a... That is. No matter what the counterpart does, never lower yourself anywhere below the high road. There will be many occasions where you are tempted to punch back. Give yourself time to react and make sure the reaction is respectful and positions you at the highest possible level. Come on. Be a good guy. Be a good guy. Another valuable lesson that he learned as an executive from a great lady was that my boss was to distinguish between being passionate and being emotional. My Latin blood took a while to grasp this concept. I could not conceive how you could separate the two. My best shot was by taking some time to react. Immediate reactions are usually emotional. Actually, I'd go as far as to say that all reactions are emotional. It's best to just chill out. Chill out. Chill out, guys.
Nope.
Chill out. And then respond appropriately. Respond rationally. You can be rational and maintain extreme passion for what you do or what you think. Ooh, nice. Lastly, one thing I learned at my first job, the excellent gentleman that ran the company had a motto, which I will try to translate. Parco en la adulación y abundante en la crítica, limited on adulation and extensive on criticism. He meant it as a self-guiding rule rather than exercising on others. I try to practice this every day in my own life. So limited adulation of self and an extensive on criticism. Well, I guess don't be too critical of yourself. I believe it keeps you humble and focused on the issue at hand. Nice. Not bad. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode, our first day of daily news from the Venture Capital Daily News show, brought to you by moi, by VC Hunting, guys. I hope it was fun. Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, subscribe to our newsletter. That's important because in our newsletter, we're covering a lot more news in our newsletter that's not even going to be covered here. So you can get daily news in video podcast form here on YouTube, iTunes, Google, Spreaker, Spotify. I mean, we're all over the place. So you can get on decentralized networks too. You can get us all over. But if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get the written form. And none of the news on our newsletter is covered here. So we're trying to give you guys as much news as possible all over the place. Pretty cool, right? I hope you guys enjoyed our first Venture Capital News Daily presented by VC Hunting. I'm getting the kinks out. I'm getting back into this news game because it's lots of fun. And let me know how I can improve. Leave your comments below. Tweet at me. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok at VC Hunting. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we'll see you next time.